You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to the Bungalow Hockey Show. We're back. 2 weeks in a row. We did it.
We did it.
We're on a streak.
We made it.
Jeez Louise.
2 in a row, they call that a streak, bud.
It's what it is, man. And it was my son has pneumonia. You know, he got diagnosed with pneumonia the day we were supposed to record our second episode. So, obstacles are in the way, but it's okay. My wife, I woke up I rescheduled my whole day today so I could stay home with the boy today because I worked yesterday. My wife stayed home, and I woke up and she said, I'm staying home too. And I was like, well, sweet, we could do a hockey cast.
There you go.
Because it's not like he's not reeling in the corner in the fetal position. He's playing Spider-Man 2 at the moment, so
it's not reeling in the corner.
He's fine. All right, he's fine. He didn't take a hit from Rasmus Anderson.
Okay, that's another thing to talk about, too.
He's just got pneumonia, so he's got a little inhaler, he's got some medication, and he's got Spider-Man 2, so he's doing fine.
As soon as you told me about the pneumonia, I was worried for you. I was like, holy dude, do you need anything? Can I bring you soup?
Well, and I appreciate that, but I feel like things that when we were younger seemed like a bigger deal aren't that big of a deal anymore. I don't know if it's the advancement in modern medicine. I
think a lot of it too is once you have once you have more than one kid, it's just as soon as you get the one kid, it's everything is super serious, and then you get 2 kids, it's just it's fine. It's all fine. Well,
I still have the one, but my thing is I've got a mother-in-law that lives with me and a wife that both have autoimmune disorders. So they're sick all the fucking time.
I was going to say, yeah.
So it's I kind of already have a good handle on what's serious and what's not. And he's got the immune system of his mother's side.
Oh, that's
so
not great.
He gets sick a lot, and he's been coughing for a week. So it's whatever he's had, he's on the tail end of it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going to get any worse.
Yeah, I know.
So it's he's got to stay home. He's got it because whatever he had turned into pneumonia. That's how it works. You get a cold, you get a whatever. And
that's what goes on, yeah.
Whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's all good. The kid's good. We're back on the Hockey Cast. And today's episode is brought to you by Betalytics. Go to Betalytics.com. Use promo code PEAK1 like always and get 25% off. I lied to you guys last week. I said if I won the UFC on Saturday, which I did, I won big.
Attaboy.
And I'm going to say this again.
Golf claps around.
Because this is I'll just use this as the all-around betting segment when I talk about Betalytics. Because Betalytics...
Couldn't figure out how to clap with the arm here.
Betalytics doesn't do MMA. We've talked about that a million times. They don't do it. It's just too unpredictable. They do the major ball sports, puck sports, the team sports. On the Bungalow Fight Show, we do MMA. We do UFC picks. And before this last weekend, we were sitting at 63% win rate on our picks, okay?
Not wonderful.
Oh, it is, though.
Is it now?
Because in MMA specifically, but in all sports, if you're at 58%, you are a professional pick giver.
Really?
Yes. And I didn't know this until I started looking into the betting pick world. Now in MMA, people are paying for picks of guys that are 60%. We are 63% going into UFC 294, and we went 8-0 with our picks. We would have went 10-0, but 2 of those fights ended in a no contest because of illegal shots. But those guys were winning the fights before the fights were called off.
So you could have been 10-0.
Could have been 10-0, but I'll take it because in the parlay, if it's a no contest, it just gets scratched out. It doesn't go against you. It doesn't go for you. It just gets taken out.
Okay.
So technically, we went 8-0. The parlay hit. So if you're following us, we'll do the percentages this week on the show to see what our percentage goes up to. But if we're sitting at 65% and we're giving you these things for free, the least you could do is just give us a like, a subscribe.
Oh, absolutely.
A comment. Because we're not charging you. People are out there literally charging for picks.
Betalytics ought to hire you for MMA picks.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on now.
Anyways, but for all your other sports needs, when I say I lied to you, I said if I won money, I was going to use Betalytics and bet on some hockey for the first time this week.
How'd that go?
Well, I didn't use Betalytics because it was just a real panic thing. Because then Sunday came down, and I'm like, I'm not going to use that money on football. Like, I cashed out most, because what I do when I win big, I cash out like 90% of it and just leave a little bit in there to keep betting with or whatever. And I saw that there was only 2 hockey games on Sunday.
That's
and I'm
true,
like,
yeah.
I'm just going to make my own little 2-game parlay real quick, you know, and we'll do Betalytics the rest of the week after I hit this parlay.
But then.
My heart, because they are on fire right now, was like, go Red Wing. It was Red Wings and Calgary, Bruins, Anaheim, right?
Which, I mean, is kind of obvious if you're looking at the Bruins Anaheim
Right,
game,
so I'm like, obviously the Bruins are going to be one leg.
But it wasn't always. It really didn't end up that way. It was a very, very close hockey game.
Sure, but close only. My woodshop teacher says close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
You're not wrong.
Okay, and I was pretty set that the Bruins were going to be able to pull that one out.
Honestly, me too. So
Let me be honest with you.
you know.
But then that Calgary Red Wings, neither team doing terrible. I mean, Red Wings are my heart, my brain was like, Red Wings are on fire right now.
They're doing pretty well.
But then I was like, but Calgary, I mean, the Red Wings are on a clip. Calgary is solid. I think they might edge this one out. So I go Calgary, and the Bruins, the fucking Red Wings stomped Calgary. And then the Bruins won, and I lost my parlay. So no betting for me until this weekend. But anyways, for you, again, just do it. Just go to Betalytics.
And honestly, what you should do is you should be looking at Betalytics today, because all 32 teams are in action.
We're going to talk about that. I've got the whole lineup we'll talk about. So yeah, go hit Betalytics right now, because this will be out at 12 p.m. Western Pacific.
You
know me and my time zones. And you got plenty of time to put in some bets before the Frozen Frenzy starts and all these teams are playing. So go do yourself a 16 game parlay, dude. Do it.
16 game parlay. What's the payout on that?
That would be good, but it would be very stressful.
It'd be very stressful.
So yeah, Betalytics.com. Promo code PEAK1, 25% off. We're also brought to you by League Swipe. I say it every week. If you're a commissioner, sometimes it sucks, and you need a little help with your organization. You need a little help with collecting money. Go to LeagueSwipe.com. Tell them PEAK1 sent you, and see what they can help you out with. See what kind of tools that might make your life a little bit easier as a fantasy commissioner. I got to go faster on these because we got so many.
Take your time. Yeah.
PEAK1 Sports. Merch store, bonfire.com/store/PEAK1 Sports. Go there and get all your official PEAK1 Sports merch. That's where you can get the brand new Bungalow Hockey Show Parafist with Skates shirt. You know, I was laying in bed the other night and I couldn't sleep, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a Parafist with Skates design, and we're going to make a shirt.
It's one of the best things I've ever said.
It's fantastic, and it came out as a good shirt.
Yeah.
So go get it. It's up there right now. You can go buy it. Joey gave me an idea for a new shirt, because on the Bungalow Sports Show every Sunday live at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, he does the Joey's F1 corner now, because he's into Formula One now. He's been getting balls deep in Formula One, and he had a and he was he made a little comment that gave me an idea for a shirt where Max Verstappen was having trouble with his brakes, and his pit was in his ear, and he's like, Jesus Christ, guys, don't talk to me while I'm braking. And it just made me feel like that is a relatable shirt to anybody out there who has a wife who slams on the dash every time they need to brake, and it's just like all that stuff. And I'm like, don't talk to me while I'm braking is a good F1 shirt for the Bungalow Sports. Or for the PEAK1 Sports merch store. So yeah, go to bonfire.com/store/PEAK1 Sports.
Man, whose wife does not yell at him?
Not to be like your a basic husband comment, but it just seems like it's pretty universal.
Pretty across the board, eh?
You know what I mean? My wife wears the pants in my family. I have no qualms about that.
I have no problem admitting that.
But there is some like basic bitch shit that happens in all relationships, and that just seems to be one that across the board, if you're driving and your wife's in the passenger seat, she doesn't think you brake fast enough.
I decided to brake exactly when my wife told me to brake, and actually stop as quickly as I could. So she's yelling at me. She's like, stop sign, and I boom, like slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
I was 20 feet away.
Well, yeah. Well, you got that Tesla too, so it just
It's just like straight stop.
it just stops.
She's like, "Why you stop so far away?" I was like, "Why'd you tell me to stop?"
Also, we've got Epic Hockey.
Epic Hockey. Best custom hockey gear you can possibly imagine.
I'm gonna look at this text message while you do your own promo.
So Epic Hockey, my brand, we make everything a hockey player could possibly want. We make sticks, we make gloves, we make lifestyle apparel, we make base layer stuff. Amazing cut-proof products. The cut-proof socks are in the NHL. Some of the best players in the world are using our stuff right now. And you know what? It's all for a price that you can actually afford, which is crazy nowadays because sticks run you anywhere from like $350 to $400, and we come in right around $189,
which is insane.
Yeah,
like I've been like, there's so many like cheap like, get your custom hockey stick right here, ads that come up on my feed and all the time, and like you go to it and then you're just like, dude, this thing costs like $300 and it's like probably a piece of shit, like because I've never heard of this company before or whatever. But
I mean, even if you haven't heard of us, at least the price
they have,
is right,
because you're on this show and they've heard of you right now.
Exactly.
And we all know that here at the Bungalow Hockey Show and all the Bungalow shows and Peak One Sports Network, we're not going to advertise something that we don't believe in.
I like that.
All right. Why? We're not making enough money off this shit to advertise something that we're not into. You know what I mean? Until Pfizer hits me up for Johnson & Johnson wants to cut me a big ass check.
I was gonna say is like, we don't make enough money to talk about these things like we don't care about them.
Yeah, exactly.
But then also at the same point, if anybody wants to give us a lot of money,
the door is open. We just haven't, nobody stepped through it yet. All right. I will be a whore for your company. I mean, I do have some morals, you know what I mean? But again, it depends how many zeros are on that check.
Exactly.
But that being said, we have a brand new sponsor on the Peak One Sports Network. As of this morning, as of like an hour ago, I just texted Daniel about it. And that is Shank It Golf.
There's some pretty cool stuff on there.
It is, man.
It's pretty cool, man.
And it's right up the Bungalow's alley, and that's what the Peak One guys, when they texted me this morning about it, they're like, this was right up your alley, because they're not going to care what you say on their ads, because when you go to their page, the first thing is a golf glove of a guy flipping you off, on the finger it says you suck, right on the finger, and I'm like, okay, so we're not going to have any issues with language or anything else during these.
I'm going to buy so much of that
stuff.
Dude,
and it's pretty good looking, like, design. Stuff. Shank It Golf, it's a golf apparel. They've got gloves, they got polos, they got Q-zips, they've got hoodies. Go check them out. Lots of cool designs. Like I said, I haven't got anything yet. I just got word this morning that they are a sponsor. So
I'm gonna be on that.
They've got lots of cool hats on there. So in the coming weeks, we'll probably be rocking some Shank It Golf merch. But do yourself a favor, go check it out. And you know what was cool about this is, like, obviously, as soon as we get a new sponsor, I go and try to follow them on all social media or whatever. I go to their IG page. There's like 6 people that I'm friends with that follow them already, and I'm like, what the like? That is exciting for me because it's like, no, Betalytics is a startup. All these things. We're kind of support them. We're supporting each other, right? You know what I mean? We're starting this network. They're starting their thing. And we're trying to grow together. But when you go to an IG page of someone who is gonna give you some money for reading an ad for them, and people you already know follow them and buy their product,
which I mean speaks a little bit to to them as well. Is like, I mean, we already know people that know about them. It's just like, that's pretty cool, dude.
Right? So there you go. There's already Peak One Sports, Bungalow Sports listeners out there that are rocking their stuff. So if you go to Shank It Golf and you want to make a purchase, use promo code Peak One, 15% off your order, and do it right now. If you've already got some stuff or you already like their stuff and you've been like, man, I'm going to order that hoodie, go do it and use promo code Peak1 because you're going to get a discount. You were going to order it anyways, right?
Shank It Golf.
Yeah.
So the only thing that hockey players like to do in the off season is play golf.
Exactly. And because we have this show now, the hockey talk is much less on the Bungalow Sports Show. So we got Joey in the F1 and I'm like, what am I going to fill? I gotta do different sports. Because we got fights that are mostly on the fight show. We got hockey mostly on this show. So it's like golf is going to be taking a big spot on the Bungalow Sports Show, most likely.
There you go.
Because that's another thing about golf these days. There's a lot more characters now than there used to be, especially
That's
obviously
true.
with like the live golf thing happening.
Used to only be John Daly back in the day.
Right, you know what I mean? And it was way more of a traditionalist button-down sport. But now, like, people are, it's the age of the internet. It's the age of social media. People get to be themselves as athletes.
I like it when professional leagues do that, when they go and basically let the athletes be personable.
If you want to grow the sport to people who like get the casuals in, that's how you do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You don't grab people by just being stuffy and, everybody's got the same khakis and polo shirts on. That's the thing about live golf. I've said my piece about the Saudis on this show and the money they're throwing around the sports world. They let them wear shorts.
Yeah, I mean...
they let them wear shorts.
I mean, I can't... it's like, for everything wrong that was with live golf and whatnot, they did so many things that's just like, man, why has PGA just not just done that?
Well, and obviously they've had the merger now. It hasn't taken place, I guess. I don't know, what
I guess
what the
pens just hasn't hit paper and whatnot, but it's like,
I don't know what
done.
the ins and outs of that are. PGA seems like it's just for what they did to the guys that they had stand up for America and stand up for the PGA and go against live golf, and then all of a sudden,
shiesty.
And then you're just gonna sign a deal like what? If it's all about the money, it's all about the money. If it's all about principle and morals,
I mean,
then let it be about that. But it's like they hung Rory McIlroy out to dry because they let him go out there and be the poster boy of screw this. This is human atrocities, and we can't take this money and da da da. And then 6 months later, you're signing a deal with them.
It's just like who's worse, honestly. You know what I mean? Like it's not good either way.
Money's money, and in the sports world, money is king. We all know that, and you can't really besmirch some of these. I said my piece when the live thing first happened about like these golfers are like gajillionaires already. Mm-hmm. How much money do you need and da 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 and all this stuff. But it's like the ball keeps rolling.
But I mean, man, when you get an offer for like a contract with 9 digits on it,
10 million is different than 100 million. You know what I mean? So it's like, and listening to him on podcasts and everything, I'm a Brooks Koepka fan now. I always seemed like he was kind of a douche, but he's not. He seems like a decent dude. And again, we just talked about, I guess if MBS, if old Mohammed bin Salman wants to come in here with a check and buy Peak One Sports, so we'd have to think real hard about it.
Real hard.
I mean, the official podcast, the official sports podcast of Saudi Arabia.
Holy shit.
We just got flagged. All right.
We absolutely got flagged.
All right.
We are on a list right now.
We talked about it. Frozen Frenzy. Today is the day. It'll be the last time I talk about it. I've mentioned it on all my shows for the last few weeks.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Because it is, like me and Daniel said last week, it's nice to see the NHL dipping its toe into some new ideas, some new things. And today we got all 32 teams playing. We got 16 games one night, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
6 p.m. Central.
It's going to be a good
5 p.m. Mountain.
You're just throwing them out there.
Is there any more?
What do you got Hawaii time?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so again, we talked about it. We don't need to get into too big of details, but it's their red zone. They're trying out a version of the NFL's red zone. Jean Gross from ESPN Sports Center.
Love that. Love that they brought him in for that.
Me too, because we did our shout out last week on the Bungalow Sports Show to Barry Melrose stepping away with his Parkinson's diagnosis and all that. And before ESPN, just recently brought hockey back into their fold, it was Sidney Crosby or Ovechkin. Mm-hmm. If none of them did anything special, there was no hockey.
There were just no stars, really. There was just no stars in the game.
There was, right? So, but anytime somebody was talking about hockey on SportsCenter, it was Barry Melrose.
Yeah.
Keeping the torch alive on ESPN.
Trying so hard. He kept that fire lit for a long time.
Gross, again, big hockey guy, and he's always trying to bring hockey onto SportsCenter for whatever reason, bringing out different things. So he's the perfect guy as far as like ESPN analysts that already work there to,
Agreed.
To run this thing. So go check it out. It's on all the ESPNs.
It's just gonna be so much fun.
I can't wait. And I've got all our matchups here. We got Toronto at Washington. We got the Ducks in Columbus. Buffalo.
It's gonna be a fun one right there. Carlson and Fantilli.
Yeah.
Yep.
Buffalo, Ottawa, the Canes and the Lightning, New Jersey and the Habs, Dallas and the Penguins, and the Sharks and the Panthers.
It should be a route, but we don't know.
You want to know what I'm looking forward to?
What are you looking forward
It's just
to?
I want to watch this, so I'm not going to torture myself and watch the entire Sharks game.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I get that.
You
yeah.
know what I mean? They'll just
completely
make
get
sure
that.
to tune in when the Sharks are getting scored on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, I guess the downside of it is you're going to see every time the Panthers get a goal, and
Hey, well,
you're not going to see anything.
I can
else,
say
really.
I saw it at least.
I can say I saw it.
The Avs at the Islanders, the Kraken at the Red Hot Detroit Red Wings, the Bruins at the Blackhawks. That one, this is the second time they faced each other already.
It is, yeah. I think their season series will be done by then. So yeah.
Yeah. Blues at Jets, Oilers at Wild, Canucks at
Panthers.
those Predators.
Predators. That's it.
The New York Rangers at the Calgary Flames. The surprisingly doing pretty damn good Arizona Coyotes.
You know, I was high on them in the offseason. I thought they
were.
I thought they were doing some stuff.
And they're showing out at the LA Kings, which I think they win that game. And then Philadelphia Flyers at the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So that's all your games. If you're
Flyers are off to a quick start, eh?
Yeah, I mean, great goaltending right now. That's for damn sure.
Carter Hart, a little bit of a bounce back, and I think he needs it because otherwise it's going to be a rough season for them. So
right,
man.
So check it out, Frozen Frenzy. If you're a degenerate like me, go to Betalytics and make some couple of giant parlays and try to make some money today too.
16-game parlay, might as well.
All right, speaking of some people who are red hot, we've got the point leader so far.
Yep.
And those Red Wings, and we talked about this, man, as the move of the offseason. Alex DeBrincat is the best player in hockey at the moment.
It's true. I mean, it definitely helps having a center like Dylan Larkin that can actually just feed you the puck.
And as you can see they are both the top point guys in the league at the moment. But you know, under the radar, like we were saying, to us, to the the hockey heads, we know DeBrincat, but you know that Ottawa's Ottawa, and it's hard to shine when you're in Ottawa. You know what I mean? Especially when you got a captain like Tkachuk, and like he gets a lot of the print there.
He does. But,
and just name recognition. Otherwise, to people who aren't in the Ottawa area and aren't just into Ottawa, if you're an American hockey fan, you probably don't give two shits about the Ottawa Senators.
No, you probably don't.
But now DeBrincat's in Detroit, and like you said, he's got a great center in Larkin, and they're just tearing it up right now.
They're doing great.
And the hockey's good when Detroit's winning. I'm not a huge. I hate saying that.
It's hockey town. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, for what it's worth, this is the first 2 weeks of the season. You've got DeBrincat, who's off to a really good start, and Larkin, who's essentially riding his coattails. But I mean, it's a give and take, right?
Right.
Like Larkin's feeding him the puck. It's a pretty dynamic duo.
Exactly.
There, which is great.
100%.
I'm not. I don't want to be that guy, Red Wings fans, because I know y'all.
Well, here, let's move to the next one.
Okay.
Are the Red Wings the best team in hockey right now?
In my mind, the Red Wings are not the best team in hockey right now. They're pretty hot. The winged wheel is hot right now, and that's good. We like to see it. However, things will eventually regress to the mean.
Sure.
Do they make the playoffs? I put it in my off-season notes that they wouldn't. They would be fighting for it, but they wouldn't make it. And I still don't see that
Too
changing.
early to tell.
It is very early to tell. But they're not a bad team, and I think what's great about them is that they're a team that looks like they know how to defend. Right. Which is something they didn't do last year.
Right. And that was the thing too, is like when we went over their rosters, it's like their names on defense.
Mo Sider.
They got some
good dudes on.
Good dudes on defense. It just last season, it just wasn't happening.
Well, I think a lot of injuries too.
Right.
And Sider took a step back, and it's a sophomore season slump type thing.
Again, if you got a team that came out of the gates hot, it's lovely to see that it can work. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we've got some guys that can put some points together, and this is it's going, but it's like it's the consistency. You know what I mean? Can it last? Usually, scoring the amount of goals and points that these guys are putting together right now it's not going to. He's going to end up with 200 goals if he keeps that's not going to happen.
If you look at that, it's going to be ridiculous. He's going to challenge Gretzky's numbers and whatnot. It's like that's not going to happen.
That's why I love the graphics that come up when it's like the pace on pace for, and it's like so and so's on pace for 163 goals, and it's just
it's like, oh, great.
Like, why did you make that? Like, there's like, okay, what does that mean? You did math?
You did math?
Like, I don't know. But
like, I have a calculator.
All right, let's. We got some pretty significant injuries already this season.
Do. And I think this is one thing I wanted to talk about was that you talk about the Red Wings being so good right now, and you have DeBrincat and you have Larkin that are playing so well. And it's like, what I mean by it'll regress to the mean is basically like, yeah, they're doing well right now, and this hot start is going to help them later on. Like, you'll be able to look back at this and go like, man, if they didn't have that hot start, where would they be?
Well, it's one of those things where like you just got to DeBrincat, right? This is like a new duo, and and you're like, okay, so this duo can work.
There's a honeymoon phase here.
So even if it regresses back, it's like, no, they did that, so it can be that. Mm-hmm. It's just like you said, it's just kind of keeping it. The longevity of that going, but it kind of, as a fan of a team that has that hot moment, whether it's the beginning of the season or whatever, when you're in a iffy kind of a situation with your roster, with everything, because like you said, you picked the Detroit Red Wings not to make the playoffs, and I feel like a lot of people probably still feel that way, analyst wise, just because of the roster that they have, you know what I mean? Can it sustain?
But like I said, they're off to a good start, right? So I mean, like, as long as they can continue at least a portion of that, then they surprise some people and they defend well. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, you look at the team like
this guy's team,
a team like the Edmonton Oilers.
Connor McDavid, he's out 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury.
Now, before McDavid goes out, he's got no goals.
Yeah.
No goals on the season in like 4 games. 4 games, I think. And the Oilers, 1 win out of those 4 games. Mm-hmm. They have not scored a goal in the third period. Do you really think that's going to continue? I mean, it's like what I say, it's going to regress to the mean, right?
Depending on, obviously, hockey is very cryptic with their injury reports, right? You got upper body, lower body.
It doesn't.
Upper body, lower body, head. That's what you get, right? So depending on what it is and how he comes back from that and everything like that, and the amount of, if he's going to go straight back to getting, basically playing the whole damn game or whatever.
McDavid, man, like,
of course,
even at 50%, he's still better than most people's 100. So
definitely. But like you said, same thing with the Red Wings might regress. Do you think the Oilers are going to stay down?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Like you said, everything kind of, or as Joey would say, the cream rises to the top.
The cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, even with this...
That was the funniest clip.
With
old WWF is great.
With his injury, even McDavid is the cream of this league.
Oh, he most is, likely. Man. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you gotta say about Bedard and even Crosby still and whatnot. You look up and down the league. Yeah, it's McDavid number 1 all the time. 100%. Like, I don't care if he's hurt or not. And he's out. The 1 to 2 weeks. Looks like he was clutching his side when he was walking back down to the tunnel. Did walk off on his own power. He wasn't like doubled over in pain or anything
or something like that.
I mean, it could be something. It could be something just internal,
muscle
something
strain.
That's just like, maybe you just got to give it a week to kind of.
And if you doubt it, McDavid's like prowess in this league still, this many years in, the constant choking of the Oilers as a team as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, hockey players tend to be very judgmental of other players and other teams.
That's
and
true,
other things,
actually.
right? Mm. I saw a cool video. I think it was an NHL video, a TikTok, where they sent some people into the locker rooms and were just asking, who are the best players in the league, right? Mm-hmm. And 90% of the people they asked, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were in their top 3.
Yeah.
And they're on the same goddamn team. Yeah. So we've said it before. We said it again. The Oilers are going to make the playoffs.
The team's so good, and I mean, at least offensively, they're so very good.
Right.
They have probably the biggest question of goaltending in the entire league.
Oh yeah,
right now.
we've said that.
Holy
ad
crap!
nauseum.
That tandem is.
But if you score enough goals, all you got to do is score more goals than the other team.
But that's the thing is they most of the time outscore their problems.
So
and I think I think with the two best forwards in hockey, it might be even in history. They're gonna do that for you. The big problem with McDavid missing the time now is they have that Heritage Classic, Edmonton and Calgary, the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah,
they're having that outdoor game this weekend on Saturday, and
he's not going to be there.
He's not going to be there, and
what
it's
a bummer for the people who bought those outdoor tickets.
I mean, it's like it sucks so bad, but then it's almost like. I mean, you can't expect this kind of stuff. You can't plan for it.
But it's kind of like when you buy Lakers tickets and then LeBron is like a healthy scratch. And
It's like oh, LeBron maintenance day. It's like, why the hell did I
come? So yeah, that's a big injury. Another big injury, Patrick Laine.
God, that was so dirty.
This is two topics in one. Patrick Laine is out for undisclosed amount of time.
The foreseeable future is what I'm hearing.
Right.
That's not great.
Big giant.
He's essentially their number one. He's essentially their number one center at this point.
Of course,
and that's tough, man.
And it gave Rasmus Andersson of the Calgary Flames a 4-game suspension.
Yeah, I mean, worth it. Obviously, like that's absolutely what he should be getting.
Yeah. What was the call? Was it charging?
It was charging.
Yeah.
Well, he left his feet, like he jumped up into his head.
Oh yeah, you've seen a lot of that. Me and Joey were talking about it a little bit this week on the sports show. Is like as much as hockey and all sports in general are trying to. What some of the old heads would say, they're trying to nerf my sport. I don't know about. They're trying to make it. This season, hockey has been a brutal one, dude.
A little bit,
holy smokes. There's more freaking enforcer type characters fighting out there.
It's making a comeback, isn't it?
It's nuts, dude. Like the battles between Wi-Fi and Reeves, and seeing Wi-Fi just toss Reeves around like he's just a little sack of potatoes.
Dude, right?
That made me laugh so hard. I was just
Reeves is one of the you don't fuck with Reeves
and he's
type
gigantic.
People. Yeah, man. But then here comes Jack Guy and he's just like,
yep,
dude, like this.
And then obviously you got Trouba for the Rangers. Like you got guys that are.
I think I don't know what it is, but maybe it's like ESPN. Like just the fact that it's back on ESPN and whatnot, people are just like, oh, I gotta show out.
And I'm telling you, those big giant, sometimes dirty, but just like brutal hits and fight. They look good on TikTok, man. Maybe some of these guys are out there saying like, I want to go viral today.
and they're doing it too. And like it's been a crazy season for like physicality and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I mean like. This is over the top.
This 100%.
Way
and I'm not saying that things like this are a good thing for the sport. I'm just saying it's this quick into the season. Like this is stuff you see.
We haven't seen it in a
when
long
they're
time.
battling for playoffs or in the playoffs. You see this kind of aggression and this kind of brutality because teams are battling it out. Right, it's the end of the season. It's 2 weeks in. Nothing really matters that much right now, and you're already seeing some crazy aggressive hockey.
And I think it's crazy because like I mean, I don't know how much you play, but I played NHL, the video game, like every year, all the time when it comes out.
Playing it last night. Started a new career last night.
I mean, straight up, dude. Like I could play Chell probably 20 hours a day.
Oh yeah,
maybe eating once or twice.
Fun.
Who cares? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
time flies when you're in there, dude.
I decided like I'm gonna try and do something I've never done in Chell, and I'm gonna try and just coach a game.
Okay.
I want to see what that's like, right? Because I never really do it. And I was like, I'll coach the Ducks against Columbus because they're playing Columbus tonight. So I was like, I'll figure it out. And I was doing that last night. And I was looking up and down on their roster, and they've got Ross Colton and everything. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, that was a big pickup. It's like, oh, he's on the 4th line. I'll put him up to the 3rd line. And as I look, I'm putting him up to the 3rd line. And I'm like, he's an enforcer? Mm-hmm. Like he's listed as an enforcer. And I was just like, I don't know the last time I've seen an enforcer in this game.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't exist anymore.
It's back, baby. I guess it's back. And the one thing that if Rasmus Andersson didn't look like enough of a dick for this hit, here's the thing that makes him look like even more of a dick is Patrick Laine last week made a pledge to donate $1,000 for every point he scores to his support of men's mental health.
Yeah.
So you just took took a few $1,000 out of the pocket of some charity, Rasmus.
Yeah.
By who knows how long he'll be out for. But that's a pretty legit pledge for a guy who scores a lot of points.
Absolutely.
And that's points. That's not goals. That's goals and assists for those of you who don't know. So that's a lot of money that he could potentially.
And on the team that he's on with the line mates that he has Johnny Gaudreau. Yeah. And I think Fantilli's been skating with him up there.
Yeah, up and down, back and forth.
And whatnot. Yeah.
That's a lot of passes. That's a lot of potential assists.
He could have a 60-point season. Yeah. And now he's going to miss. We don't know how much time he's going to miss. So if he misses 2 months out of the season.
Thanks, Rasmus.
Yeah, if he misses 2 months out of the season, he's missing probably 20 points.
Yeah, so hats off to Line A and eat a dick, Rasmus. Cause
now Rasmus is appealing the suspension.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know what there is to appeal.
I don't get it.
Is it like the NFL where if you're in the middle of an appeal, you can play?
That's not the same thing here.
Okay, I didn't know that.
In the NFL,
there was a thing like that this week with the
yeah.
NFL. I can't remember what player it was that got us given a suspension, but then if you put an appeal in, you can play until the appeal's done. So it's not the same.
No, it's you would be serving the games for however long it takes Gary Bettman in the NHL
to work through it.
Yeah. And normally with them, it takes about, which is just asinine. Gary Bettman takes around 2 weeks to take care of it.
Well, he's got nothing better to do.
You know what?
Like you think, does he think we're like picturing him at home, like going through flipping through paperwork, looking at video? It's like, how long does it take to judge on that hit specifically?
I still think Gary Bettman thinks that the hockey community is stupid.
I guess,
but you know what? It's like, to that end, it's just like, you know what? Have fun being last out of 4. You know what I mean? Like in the big 4 in professional sports, and at least in
of course.
North America,
of course,
have fun being last, Gary, because that is like half of the reason. Like that's some of the reason that we're here.
100%. No, I agree totally.
We have a commissioner that just does not give a flying fuck.
He does, yeah. It's like, I don't know. We could talk about that. We could do a whole episode on that.
We could do an entire episode on Gary.
Speaking
Bettman.
of Gary Bettman decisions. This is, old news mixed with new news. We never really got into the NHL's bans on specialty and theme jerseys.
And I feel bad because we probably should have.
We should have, but, it's only our second episode, so let's cut ourselves a little bit of a break here. Theme jerseys, such as the one that I have on right now for the military. Mm-hmm. If you're a hockey fan and you watch your team's warm-ups, pretty much almost every game your team has
something
themed jersey. The Sharks just did the Los Tiburones night where it's Mexican Heritage Night. Obviously, last season it was a big kerfuffle because they started incorporating Pride Nights into it and doing the rainbow jerseys and rainbow players being able to do rainbow tape and all that stuff.
That's the thing is, it's not new. That wasn't new then.
No, but it was like a league-wide thing, right?
Well,
last year.
It was a league-wide thing, but then like it had been league-wide, like at least just not like regulated, I guess, not like on the calendar to be like a Pride
It was
night
when all
thing.
the jerk offs out there saw it actually on their team's calendar that tonight is.
Well, but then that's the thing.
Pride Appreciation Night.
Then there were players that are like, I'm uncomfortable doing that.
Right.
And I will say this, for some of the Russian guys, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Because
in Chechnya they throw gay people off roofs still.
But that's the thing, right? So like there's some Russian guys that were like, if I go out there and I'm photographed in this, I can't go home.
Yes. No, and this is, so you and I were discussing this on text message when we were talking about adding this to the show. And that's my thing, is like, as much as it's a choice for a team to do, like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't think any of these theme nights should be mandated by the league. I think it team per team, every team gets to choose what they want to do. Like the Sharks have a reason to have a Mexican Heritage Night.
Yeah,
the Montreal Canadiens do not, right? So it's like, it's not like they should force the Canadiens to do a Mexican Heritage Night, right? So I think team per team, they should choose what they do. You have your list of Armed Forces Night, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, like all the.
And I think the league was trying to make it to where it's just like, back like a year or two ago with when Brian Burke was like kind of the head of all this kind of thing, was that it's just an expression of saying whoever you are, whatever you believe in, you are welcome at a hockey game, which is great.
And that being said, like you said, with the Russians and the people, if you're not Russian, if you're American, if you're Canadian, and you have religious beliefs that really oppose to Pride Night or whatever else, The same way the team should be able to choose what they do as a theme night, let the players individually choose. They got regular practice jerseys, so if they don't want to skate out there in a rainbow jersey, they don't have to.
And it's just a practice, man. It's like
But
it's
still,
the warm up. Like
again,
what are we? Do they have to be completely like oh I
matching,
I can't tell the players apart unless they're wearing matching uniforms.
But
it's like
exactly.
no, you're dumb.
Yeah,
Just,
like you go to
like,
a
if they
batting
don't-
practice at a baseball game, and dudes are out there in t-shirts and shit. So it's just like, what does it matter, right?
It's like if it's just gonna be for them in the maybe like 25% of the building that's gonna be in
there
while
for
they're
that
while they're
reason
getting
or
there. It's
whatever.
just like, who cares, man?
And that's my thing, is like, to ban it is complete. The same way to like mandate it would be completely short-sighted. I think banning it is completely short-sighted, right? It's like,
but then what I found out about this, because I didn't know like everything, because the memo that came out was just that the NHL release was just not clear. Yeah, and I think Gary Bettman and Bill Daly,
my gardener here.
Yeah. So I think Gary Bettman and Bill Daly did that on purpose. You know, it's just like they're gonna make it as obligatory as possible to where you don't really understand, but you're kind of questioning it.
It's like the way of the world now. Everything's an overcorrection.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
which is what this is.
the people who had a
100%.
problem with it, right? They're like, oh, everybody's force feeding me this gay shit nowadays. You know what I mean? And it's just like, nobody's force feeding you anything. You don't have to take part in it. But there's plenty of players who came out and said, well, I'll put rainbow tape on my stick if I want to. If they want to find me, go ahead and find me.
Travis McDermott.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's that's the thing, because you're also, why are you, so you bring in a Pride Night or what? I'm only using that because that's like the big catalyst.
That's the big one right now.
The big that's like the stir in the pot. Nobody really gives a shit about Armed Forces Night or Valentine's Day jerseys.
But the fact that they are overcorrecting so hard,
and that's the
on
thing.
the Pride Night ones, they axed everything else, and it's like, for what reason did you do all of that?
And everything's got to be a pendulum swing. It can't just be somewhere in the middle. And it's like, so you thought it was a big enough deal to add it to the calendar to be inclusive, right?
Right.
So then these people thought
welcoming.
These people thought like, oh, you're just like Disney, you're just like everybody else, and you're shoehorning the shit into our lives. It's like, okay, so now we're gonna overcorrect to appease you?
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't get it. Like, so you thought it was good enough to appease these people, but now these people complain, so now you're going back the other way just to appease them. It's like, why can't there be a middle ground?
And
I don't get it.
And so the way the NHL writes this out is that they're not doing the mandatory jerseys that you have to wear. They're not doing that, which also sucks, because after the warm-ups, they auction those off and give them to charities in the local community. So
NHL's being a big old Rasmus Anderson right now.
So like for San Jose, when they do the Los Tiburones night and whatnot, and they did last season, they had like the Tiburones jerseys.
Yeah, they do that every year.
Really,
they have
really
a local
cool
Mexican artist draw the artwork and all that stuff.
So cool. And all the money that they
I've got the Lucha Libre
Yeah.
mask right there.
And all the money they gain from that night with the jerseys and the auctioning and the selling goes to local San Jose Mexican awareness charities or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing the work that they do within the community with that money that they get from just the uniforms.
Right.
And they take that away. Not only are they taking away like the gay rights stuff and whatnot, because let's be honest, like I know we don't have any problem with LGBT.
Right. We're not the ones who have the issue.
We don't care. Like it's you know,
let your freak flag fly.
Exactly.
I am a
Who cares,
personal
man? Like,
freedom type of dude. The same way that I don't care if a Russian player is like, I don't want to be photographed in this because if I go home, somebody's going to push me in front of a train.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
That's
because
fine.
I don't want you to get pushed in front of a train. Like,
Understandable.
You deal with things like on your own terms, right?
Yeah.
In my life, it has no effect on my life, right? So I want everybody to do what they want to do.
Exactly.
In that Russian player's
it's not
life,
hurting anyone.
it affects them
None of this
in
is
a different
hurting
way.
anyone.
Right. So,
but like you know, you don't want the Russian player to go and be like, oh, I'm afraid for my family back there. You know, like this kind of thing. Like if I get photographed like that,
right.
You know, like completely understandable. Understand it. That's fine.
Right.
I thank you for voicing your concern, basically. Right. But fuck, man, just like with some of these things, it's just like, are you kidding?
And that's the thing. It's bizarre to me that they can't find that middle ground of like, no, we can still have the night.
Yeah.
And then you'll look like a hero back in Russia if you're the one guy skating around without the rainbow flag on. You know what I mean? Like,
but then like to take all that money from the sales and everything away from
or
not just
something
the gay
else
community.
that's not, we don't have to do the pride stuff anymore, but like women in hockey night.
Women in hockey night, breast cancer awareness, military appreciation.
Like we have women that are
it's just
in official positions in NHL hockey teams now. So to take away a women in hockey night seems asinine at this point.
It's dumb.
You know what I mean?
Like on the Toronto Maple Leafs alone, there is a former national team captain, a doctor, and a lawyer on their staff, and that's just Haley Wickenheiser.
Right.
It's like so you're telling me
well, and you've got professional women's hockey now where these girls are signing big contracts. It's becoming
which is awesome, and
which is fantastic.
And who's the head of that league? Who's the president of that league? Brian Burke.
Yeah,
the guy that started the awareness in hockey.
So that's and that's the thing.
And the guy that won the Anaheim Ducks a Stanley Cup as the general manager. Just putting that out there. Yeah. I love you, Berkey.
There you go. So, I mean, as far as obviously, you don't have to look too far to figure out our stance on this because I'm wearing one of the fucking jerseys right now. I should have
worn my Ducks one. I didn't.
It's all right. We've got another topic that yours fits into, but
okay,
yeah, dude. Everybody, player-wise, team-wise, you should all, the same way that people have personal freedom in North America to be and do what they want, these players should have the freedom to be and do what they want in their warm-ups.
So I do want to hit on another thing about these nights, right? So they said that the jerseys are not mandatory or are basically outlawed. Like you can't do the jerseys. We're not doing that. We're not doing the special nights.
Right.
But the teams can go and have their own nights. So the Coyotes actually,
i.e. the Sharks and the Boston Bruins.
So the Coyotes are actually having a Pride night this week.
Okay.
It may be today, or maybe it's not. It's probably not today, but they're having a Pride night this week, and I think most of the players are planning to wear or use the Pride tape on their sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing that came out with the NHL was they said, oh, well, you can't use different colored special tape. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And that actually flies in the face of what they have written in their rules.
Of course.
The rules say
Ovi can wear his yellow fucking shoelaces.
Exactly. And you can have whatever kind of color tape you want. Right. So like if you wanted to be that way, because like there's a company that makes the Pride tape where it's just a full strip and then it's got like the segments in it and whatnot, so that when you tape it you don't have to worry about like making the stripes yourself.
Right.
Well, they basically outlawed that. They're like, you can't use that, even though Travis McDermott did it already.
Right.
They're like, well, basically, you can't do that. And they're like, well, if I wanted to, I could just use.
Can I just buy a bunch of color tape
and a tape of red and a tape of green? Right. It's like you're not going to stop people. That's stupid. It's one.
In a time where just a year ago it was the complete opposite.
Complete
and
about face.
It's insane.
It's just weird. It's just very weird.
Thanks, Bettman.
Exactly. Thank you, Bettman. Thank you, Bill Daly.
Take 2 weeks on that Anderson suspension appeal. But
also, the problem that I see a lot of this with is the fact that Travis McDermott already did it. Right? He already used Pride tape.
Mm-hmm.
The NHL has not done anything to the Coyotes organization. They have not come down with sanctions on McDermott. None of this, nothing that they said would happen has happened.
And you want to know why? They probably won't. You know why? Because all these assholes who sounded the alarm about how they don't want any of this or don't want the Pride nights, they're not smart enough to look into what teams are doing what on what night and alerting the NHL like, why aren't you finding this guy?
But it's just like, you know what I mean? But even if they were, what's the benefit of you actually coming down on Travis?
There is none.
Now?
But I'm just saying that's the short-sightedness of this all. Is everybody just wants to be a mouthpiece. If you really cared about it, wouldn't you be writing a letter to the NHL saying, why haven't you found Travis McDermott yet?
But
they don't care. They really don't care.
It doesn't make any sense.
Everybody is in this, North America, but America specifically is just in this time that politics and all these things have to be like driven into everything, even sports, even everything else. So any kind of change that doesn't fit into your little, scope of vision is bad.
Yeah.
It's a division. We're divided, right? And we don't talk politics here, but everything's divided now, and it sucks. Man. And it's like sports used to be the place where it wasn't divided. The only place it was divided is I love my team and I hate your team.
Yeah.
And that's good old fashioned sports fandom. But
that was fine.
Yeah.
And that was fine. But now it's like I love my team, but I don't like this player because he supports X. And it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop.
Dumb.
Stop
Stupid. All right, that's enough of that because we got some news. Big Joe Thornton,
Jumbo Joe,
spotted in a skybox at San Jose last week.
I hope he comes back. Man.
Has been around, talking to a few people saying that because he's not officially retired.
No, he's not. He is not.
A few players coming out saying they've talked with him and he might be thinking about coming back.
I hope he does.
And come back to the Sharks.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Finish it off in San Jose.
Why not?
Because, I mean, like...
You're not going to hurt anything.
Not to say... yeah, there's that. But it's like, not to say that, like, if he came back this season, this would for sure be the last season he plays. Dude's in great physical health. He's only... I mean, like...
you wouldn't know that by looking at his beard.
We look at his age. We look at... He's, what, 42?
42, I think.
Something like that. We look at that and we say, like, oh, that's ancient in hockey. It's just like, yeah, but I play with a bunch of 60-year-olds in Dirt League. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's Dirt League, but, like... those 60-year-olds that I play with are not in the same shape.
The only team that would sign him at this point would be the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
And in the season that they're in the moment where the Sharks are living up to the hype of being the worst team in the NHL.
I saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming like this.
They've got a bunch of young guys that could benefit from playing with a guy like Jumbo.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The guy is a born and bred leader, and
right.
And the fact that he is such a character in the locker room. Like
he can bring levity.
He's gonna make that situation they're going through a lot more bearable.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard enough being a shitty team, but then when you've probably got a bunch of shitty attitudes in there, because again, you got a bunch of young guys on the Sharks that young guys sometimes have the worst attitudes.
That's true.
Especially when they're losing things like that. You bring a guy in there that's just like,
and it's hard to have fun when you're losing.
That's what I'm saying.
It really is.
And he's a guy who can be like, hey, I've been on this team for 15 years, and we've done a lot of losing. Mm-hmm. And I still had a lot of fun. Yeah. So let me teach you how to have fun while you lose, because sometimes that little bit of fun sprinkled in there is what kind of kicks you in the ass and helps you play better sometimes. Because you get out there and you start halfway through the first period and your goalie's got 39 shots on him in the first period. It's real hard to be positive, real hard to, you know what I mean, to be motivated, right?
It's just real hard to be happy in a situation where you know
I'm all for it.
Where you know what the outcome's going to be, and it's not going to be.
I'm all for it. In a season where I
would love to see him back in the show.
We're just hoping to win a lottery this year. That's all we're hoping for. 2 weeks in, bring back Jumbo. I'm all for that. But
damn, dude, can you imagine? You guys finish dead last and actually win the draft lottery and get Yzerman.
Don't jinx it. All right, moving on to stuff that I alluded to regarding Daniel's jersey. Rick Bowness, Jets head coach, stepping away. His wife had a seizure, was hospitalized, having some obvious health problems. And
very sad.
Doing the right thing, stepping away, take care of your family. Got to do what you got to do, man. There's plenty of coaches that can stand behind
exactly,
that
and
bench.
you have assistant and associate coaches for a reason,
and we saw it during COVID in the NFL. Coaches coaching from their couch. I think, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can't be watching the game and be sending messages to somebody behind the bench.
And I think Bowness, when he was on Dallas, actually got COVID and had to step away from the team. So I think it was the same thing. So he's not new to this, but it's good. It's good the fact that he's going and taking care of his wife. I don't know how his wife is doing. I hope everybody is happy and healthy. I hope that she's. It's
just
better.
A moment where you realize, like in a moment where Sean McVay of the Rams is saying he's not going to miss a game. Like, my son knows better than to be born on a football day. And it's just like, you just go be with your wife, dude.
Exactly,
when she's about to pop a kid out. Like, it's like things are more important than sports.
Yeah.
So all power to him. Salute you as a husband, as a family man.
That's a good man. I've not heard a single word of derogatory anything about Rick Bowness.
You know what he looks like, too? Speaking of those old guys we play in the Dirt League with, he looks like a guy who'd play in the Dirt League with us.
He looks like Paul Brenner. He looks like Brenner on my team, doesn't he?
Maybe that's why I thought that. He does.
Paul, if you're watching, you look like Rick Bowness.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, so shout out to Rick. All right, we didn't finish our roster reviews before the season started, and I feel bad that the Central Division got left out.
Yeah,
so before we end this show,
I think
I told you my math is bad. When I was doing my NFL preseason roster reviews, I missed like 3 divisions before the season started because I just.
How did you do that?
Because I don't do math well, Daniel. Like, hey, come on. All right. This isn't Mathcast.
I mean, we can go quick.
We talk about sports. So we're going to do a super fast Central Division overview 2 weeks into the season. Because obviously our higher ups at Peak One Sports, they're from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we left their team out.
Yeah,
so,
sorry about that,
we
guys.
can talk about them, but let's start with the Avalanche. What do you think? They're kicking ass.
They're kicking ass and taking names. We knew what they were when they walked in.
Like Nathan McKinnon already making some moves this season that are just like,
yeah, man,
they're sickening.
But he's, you know what, and I think that's what we were worried about with McKinnon, was that he came in and he said, you know, like, I don't know if I feel right. I've been spending all off season trying to feel better.
That was Kel McCarr.
Never mind. But Kel McCarr, same thing, right? It's just like they both look like they're out here and there's no breaks in this train. No. Right? Like they're rolling down the tracks and it does not matter.
They are fantastic.
Georgiev's having a great start of the season. I mean, God, the whole team is an actual powerhouse. And
it is.
And they've been that way for a while. And
if anybody's wondering, like with the season Boston had last year, with the season Carolina had last year, and you're wondering why the Avalanche are still the odds-on favorite to win the Cup, watch them play a fucking hockey game.
Dude, they had 108 points last year. This is a fantastic stat. 108 points last year. They won their division. They used 43 players to get through the season.
It's insane.
43. You dressed 20.
Right. No, that's
like, are you kidding? They used an entire other team plus 3 more.
So
to get through the season and still had 108
your great
points.
Players have to do with it, but obviously it's great coaching, it's a great system, it's a great everything in Colorado. You have a lot to be happy about.
They're great. They're great, man. That's a A team.
Other than the Broncos just being total trash, I mean, you've got the Nuggets, you've got the Avalanche,
you got the Avs. Well,
here we go.
Team's good.
Moving on, St. Louis Blues. What do you think about?
Sorry about the Rockies, Colorado.
Yeah. What do you got about the Blues? What do you think about old St. Louis?
Interesting team. They, you know, like taking what they've done so far out of the equation. This is like what we would have said during the
whole breakdown,
the whole breakdowns, the off-season breakdowns. I was worried about goaltending. They had Jordan Binnington, who, you know, on a best case scenario, he's a pretty good goalie. On a worst case scenario, he's starting a fight.
Right. Yep.
I just don't get the makeup of the team a little bit.
Goalies should not, of all the things goalies have on their mind, which is a lot because they're usually weirdos.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting, usually you want to be at the bottom of the list.
Should be at the bottom of it. And he instigates so freaking much. And
real hothead.
And the team is in an obvious state of flux, right? They're looking to. I'm assuming they're looking to rebuild at this point. They
seem like they don't want to really check that box, though.
They don't really want to.
They don't want to let it go.
They're kind of dancing around it, like, no, we can retool real quick. And it's well, you could.
Seems like you've been doing that for a while.
You've been doing that since you won
the Cup.
You've been doing it for a minute. I don't know. I don't spark a whole lot of trust and expectation. Really.
And O'Reilly's in Nashville
O'Reilly's
now.
in Nashville. They got rid of him last season at the deadline to Toronto.
I feel like the gap in his teeth is getting bigger too.
It's absolutely true. Yeah. That's
a retainer. All right, Arizona Coyotes.
I was high on this team. in
they're looking damn
preseason.
Good. Cooley is looking good.
Cooley's looking great. Vemelka is being Vemelka, which is insane to me. Like the guy just thrives on being thrown to the absolute wolves. They got the two big signings. I think the two big trade and signings that happened in the offseason was they went and got Sean Dursey from LA,
right,
and they signed Matt Dumba. That instantly shores up your defense to an entirely different level.
Great right out the gate.
Clayton Keller, man. Clayton Keller, he's playing well.
Yeah,
Clayton Keller's playing well. You got Logan Cooley, who's just that like if Connor Bedard didn't exist, Logan Cooley for Calder.
Oh yeah. Early Calder rankings. The guy's right behind Bedard.
I mean, like everybody's playing so good.
Well, and you know what? They're playing at what the ASU arena right now. You know what I mean? And it's like it's shades of the Pac-12 Arizona's given me. It's like this is your last hurrah. Yeah. You're either getting shipped out or there's going to be some major change. And it's like we're going to show you guys that we're a real team.
See, and that's the thing is they are playing right now like they are a real team, and I love that. I love that about them. Love that the fact that they're actually trying now.
Right.
Because you could tell for years. They were not trying.
It just didn't seem like
Yet somehow they still had a fan base in Arizona. It was like the team outright was just like, we're not trying. We're trying to be bad.
But people were still showing up.
But people still show up and people still follow this team. Like the fans in Arizona do not deserve this team.
And I'm glad they went back to the OG logo.
And I'm glad they went back to the Kachina, yeah.
It's the best.
It is. It really is.
Like when I was a kid, like obviously I've always been a Sharks fan, but the only non-Sharks related apparel I had when I was a kid was the hockey the T-shirt jersey, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it was a Jeremy Roenick Arizona or Phoenix Coyotes with this little bad boy on there. Was not a fan of the Howling Coyote they've had for many years.
They still got that Coyote.
They do. I love this guy right here. But yeah, so shout out to Arizona. Dallas Stars, the team of Peak One Sports, because it's the we've got an official Dallas Stars writer on our staff. Yeah,
hey, that's pretty cool.
So he writes blogs about the Stars all the time, almost weekly.
I like the Stars a lot.
I have to. I mean, I've hated them my whole life, but ever since Joe Pavelski got traded there, I can't hate them anymore because I love that man. And probably one of the best shot tippers in league history, Joe Pavelski. Like, if you want to see some cool training highlights, just watch Pavelski watch people blast slap shots at him, and him just cool as a cucumber, just ding, ding,
and every single one of them goes in.
Ding. Like, oh yeah, it's nuts.
And it's not like he's tipping them and looking back to go like,
you don't even look.
Did that go in? No, he's just like, bing, okay, that went in.
It's
bing, that one went in. Bing.
It's so crazy to watch.
It's ridiculous,
yeah,
dude.
It doesn't look real.
With the Stars, Jake Ottinger, the Otter, as their goalie. This guy's fantastic. Jason Robertson, fantastic. There aren't a whole lot of weaknesses on this team. If you want to point at Sutter on defense, he's just getting a little old. He's losing a step. Other than that, I just really don't. There's not a whole lot here. No, they're going
to be a playoff contender.
I think they
a hard out.
I think they finished second in the division only because Colorado exists.
Right. Yeah. No. They're going to be what they were last year.
They're great. They're great.
The absence of Max Domi isn't really making.
It's not going to hurt them that much. No.
Moving on. Minnesota Wild.
Interesting team. It's interesting. Well, because seemingly it looks like Gustafsson won the starting job,
right?
And we knew that in the preseason that Gustafsson was going to be starting over Flower,
right?
Not for lack of effort,
because Marc-Andre Fleury did trip Connor Bedard in that first game. That was pretty sweet highlight. That was another viral TikTok moment.
You know what?
And he tried to start a fight too.
Yeah, he did actually. He did. Marc-Andre Fleury actually tried to fight Binnington last season too.
He's like, I'm going out in a blaze of glory, dude.
He's like, I'm gonna go fight him, and then the referees are holding him back. He's like, come on, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
He's always talking shit. Let me go. Yeah. But I mean, I like Minnesota. Their makeup and everything. They are hampered in a financial way,
right?
I don't know if anybody remembers this, but was it last season, the season before, they bought out Zach Parise? Was it Parise? Yeah, they bought out Zach Parise and they bought out Ryan Suter. And it is a lot of money, and because they were on contracts that are now illegal in the NHL, because I think they were signed for like 12-year contracts at like $9 million a year or something like that, which is insane to begin with. But then like they still had
not a good business move.
No, yeah, and they still had like 2 or 3 years on them when they bought them out, which was a couple of years ago now. So the way the NHL buyouts work is, you're essentially paying a luxury tax on top of paying for the contract to be over,
right?
And you're just kind of like scaling that back through the years. So like if you buy out a younger player, it doesn't cost you as much because the younger player doesn't have like all the residuals that you have to pay and everything like that.
Right.
But when you buy out older players, which Sutter and Parise were both older players, you have to pay basically the luxury tax on the fact that they're over 30, the luxury tax on the fact that they're NHL alum, the luxury tax on the fact that they played so many games. A lot of things attached to it. It's a lot of things that go into it, and that made essentially their buyout is somewhere in the neighborhood of like $7 to $8 million a year.
Right.
It's like, and that's like a top line center.
Oh yeah, that's 2 top line centers you can't have.
Yeah, because you bought these guys out. And
now that they're a somewhat younger team, those money issues next year, the year after, are really going to start eating you, because those guys are going to leave and go somewhere else where they can get paid. It's really going
to hurt. And I mean, I think they're doing it right by prioritizing Kaprizov.
Of course, you have to.
You know, they want to make sure that he's happy and stays in Minnesota for a while, but that's why they lost Dumba.
But you got to have, we've said it a million times, you can have that guy, but you got to have a supporting cast, and guys like Dumba leaving, and you're going to see other younger guys that are going to move on.
They can't afford them. Because they just can't afford them at this point. They're at this point working with the salary cap at a disadvantage.
And Minnesota is not a team where people will say, I'll make less money to stay here.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're from Minnesota, which is a lot of people in the NHL, but still.
But on their current roster, I don't think you're going to see a lot of those guys saying, you know what, let's all work around these problems.
And there's just not a lot on their roster that can compete with the likes of Dallas and Colorado.
Right.
They're still a good team, but I mean, even Nashville at this point, I think Nashville's passing them. And Bill Guerin in Minnesota is doing a good job with what he's able to work with.
Right.
But
it's just money-wise, they're kind of hamstrung.
They are so hamstrung, and they just can't. I don't see them getting out from under it. If they make playoffs, it's going to be in spite of their cap troubles.
Definitely.
And even if they do make playoffs, I wonder how long they stay in.
And it's gonna they make playoffs, and they have a few of those younger guys who are going to be needing or wanting new contracts soon. That's going to make them worth more to other teams to pick them off.
They can easily, knowing that the Wild have those cap issues, they're going to be able to go to the
teams
open
are going to be
market.
hunting because they know. Winnipeg
Jets are surprising, actually. Back in the offseason, I think what I would have said about them is I wondered
about Hellebuck.
I wonder what they're going to do with Hellebuck.
The week after we talked about that.
I wonder what they're going to do with Hellebuck. I wonder what they're going to do with Scheifele. Blake Wheeler's already gone, and you wonder how a guy like Cole Perfetti is going to come in and be like a standout in what is essentially his rookie season.
Right.
You've got, I think, one of your better defensemen is Brendan Dillon.
Former Shark.
In Brendan Dillon is a veteran of the league, and he's a smart two-way defenseman, but he is not going to move the needle.
No, he's not a game changer.
No. But that being said, you don't really need a game-changing defenseman when you have Connor freaking Hellebuck in
you're right.
the net.
That's that's kind of the juxtaposition, what we usually talk about, where you can have a middle-of-the-road goalie as long as you're blocking the damn shots in front of him. In their case, they got Connor Hellebuck, so they don't need a great defense. They just need a passable one. They just need to,
which I think they have. And I think back in the offseason, I would have said that this team is going to be fighting for a playoff spot. You're going to be fighting with the likes of Nashville and Minnesota. And do you make it in? I don't really know. I don't know if you have it in you to do it.
I think you're right, though. Still, is that it's going to be a 3-way battle between them, Minnesota, and Nashville.
The middle of the Central is going to be an absolute logjam.
It's going to be a 1 or 2 games difference.
And I mean, you can throw Arizona in there. They
That's
might,
true. If they can keep that consistency going.
Arizona, they just they're exciting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then even with no building to play in, they're
Wouldn't
exciting.
that be insane to have NHL playoffs on the ASU campus?
It'd be great. I don't even care. That'd be so cool.
It's smaller than the Stockton Arena.
Oh my God, it is.
I think so.
Oh my God, it is. And it's smaller by a lot too. Because I think Stockton Arena holds like 9,300 people.
You can't you can't really imagine that Arizona college hockey is getting too many fans. You know what I mean? So it's like I'd like to see the numbers on that, but it's probably a pretty small place.
I think it's like 3,000 seats.
But yeah, I think if Arizona can keep it up, it's going to be a 4-way battle between the Jets, Minnesota, and Nashville, and Arizona.
I like the Jets and everything, but I worry about their makeup, and I worry about some of the leadership that they got going on in there. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about with the Jets during the offseason was they got rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Mm-hmm. And getting rid of PLD, a lot of people, there's kind of like two ways of thinking on it. Is like you get rid of PLD, who's probably your number 2 center at that time. And it's like, okay, you're typically not going to win a trade when you trade the best player in the trade.
Yeah, but he's a fucking head case.
But he's a head case, right? And they sent him off to LA, and they got Iafallo. I love Iafallo. They got
I like
Lazat.
Yeah.
You know
Both those
it's
guys
just like,
are solid players. When you're getting that cancer out of your locker room,
but I mean,
and then adding those 2 guys, it's not a bad deal.
The return that they got was just like, I'll be honest, I didn't think LA was going to do that kind of a return.
Right, because those 2 guys were big parts of that LA team.
And they helped out a lot, especially last season when they came up and everybody's like, "Oh, look at LA." Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I mean, not to because this is supposed to be like a before the season type of look, not to bring in what's currently happening, but if you look at LA currently, they might miss Lazat and they might miss Iafallo just a little bit.
I think so. Not to get too far in LA, I shared a video earlier this week on the Bungalow Sports Show Instagram account. Go follow us. Anze Kopitar's kid announcing the lineup for his record-breaking LA game, or it was like his 1,300 or something. Cute, it was so badass. Like the kid came in there and announced the line. It was awesome. Anyways, that's dad talk. Nashville Predators, we said they added Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah,
that made a couple of
bad boy. Yeah, he looks a lot like their logo.
He does.
Adding O'Reilly makes a lot of sense. It was a sneaky move by them. It was a good call.
Yeah.
UC Saros, you can't go wrong with their goaltending.
No.
I mean, this is a team a lot like the Rangers, right? And they've just been around a lot less amount of time than the Rangers have. But I mean, like this team went from Pecorine to UC Saros. It's just like you can't keep getting away with this,
right?
You know?
No, I mean that's some teams get that goalie luck, dude, and that's kind of what has kept them in the mix for so many years.
They have been a team that relies heavily on the guy in the pads in the back, and most of the time that guy will work out pretty well for them. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Saros is playing well. He's gonna be playing well. I want to know if they have, I guess, the longevity to go, because you've got guys like Philip Forsberg. He's had some injury history.
Best mustache in the league.
Best mustache in the league. Sorry, Matthews.
Matthews has a shit stash.
He has a shit stash.
Forsberg has a mustache.
Forsberg with the injury trouble. When they got Ryan O'Reilly, right? Ryan O'Reilly has had some injury issues. There's some back problems and whatnot for O'Reilly. It's just you look up and down at their roster, and they're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, can they handle the workload that is the Central Division? It's kind of a four-team toss-up right now. It's a coin toss. Yeah. It's a coin toss on them.
If Arizona falls off, it's a three-way between Minnesota. Then we just said it a million times already, but it's just what it's going to be. It's going to be two teams that are clearly in the lead, and then three or four teams that are battling it out.
And then you're gonna see St. Louis just kind of like bobbing down there on the bottom, unfortunately.
Yeah, Bennington out there trying to square up on people. All right.
Don't understand him.
The talk of the town.
Chicago.
The Chicago Blackhawks, and their new golden boy Connor Bedard.
Off to a decent start with Connor.
Taylor Hall just went on the IR. Just put him on.
Is he back on the IR?
Yeah.
Or is he off now?
No, I think they just put him on yesterday.
Again?
I think so.
Holy shit.
Unless he's back off. I don't know.
I had him, so I got him in fantasy, and I saw him on IR in like the first couple of games. I'm like, oh, put him back down. and then he came off. I'm like, ooh, put him back up. So I have him and Corey Perry.
I saw a thing yesterday, but maybe it was something old. I feel like it was
honestly
new.
I haven't checked it in a little bit. So
anyways, aside from our fantasy teams, what do we? I mean, obviously Bedard's off to a great start for a young guy.
And
his
he's
face-offs need a little bit of work, but he's a little guy. And
he's a little guy. He'll work on it. He'll get better.
If you know anything about NHL face-offs, my entire hockey career, starting with Daniel on the Shucks and roller hockey, up until we started playing ice just recently, I've always played defense. Mm-hmm. Right? Never really take that many draws, But now, ever since we've been on ice, for some reason, I'm much better at offense than I am on defense. So I've been playing a lot of offense. Now that we have a lot of newer players, beginners on our team, since we're playing in the Dirt League, I've been playing a lot of center. Because, you don't want the beginners having to take face-offs all the time because you want to win some of them. And in the Dirt League, we're not trying to kill each other, and it doesn't matter that much. So they're mostly stick-based face-offs. But in the NHL, in the show, it is one of the most physical split seconds in all of sports.
It's like a scrum in rugby. But with two people
and sticks and a flying piece of rubber and a referee standing right there.
I heard somebody compare it the other day to a jump ball in basketball. I'm like, you really don't understand hockey, do you?
Dude, jump ball, they don't slam into each other on a jump ball. No. They don't it is. And Connor Bedard, we talked about it last week, being a smaller guy, getting tossed around a little bit, just an open play. You can see why he's losing a lot of face-offs to more seasoned guys.
Well, especially guys like Crosby who wins the face-offs on his hands alone and then is strong enough to endure everything.
And then Sharks, the San Jose Sharks, for all of our shortcomings, have always been a very good face-off team. We've had a lot of good face-off takers come through San Jose. And you watch a guy like right now, I think probably their best face-off guy is Thomas Hertl. And just the body.
I think because Logan Couture's hurt. But,
right. And Hertl's bigger. So then when you watch him, shoulder goes straight into the other guy's chest, it's a full-on body turn, it is a very physical motion. So Bedard's got some work to do. He needs to go do some bench presses or do some kind of he needs to get his strength up a little bit. But other than that, the guy, you can't ask for more out of a first-round pick, I think, this early in the season. Corey Perry's out there mixing it up with Ryan Reeves. Perry, man. Obviously, the reason they won't be winning a cup anytime soon.
Sadly.
Like we said, Taylor Hall on and off the injury report.
Which makes sense for Taylor Hall because that is something that he struggled with, is the injuries and whatnot.
But, again, they picked up veteran guys to kind of help Bedard work through his first season, which was a good move.
And I think that's a smart thing that they did pick up. They picked up a guy that can take the scoring away from Bedard just a little bit to try to help him, feed him the puck and give him an outlet to put the puck.
Right.
So in Taylor Hall, and then they also give him Corey Perry,
who teaches you how to be an asshole,
who will teach you how to be an asshole, and who will protect Bedard because if anybody hits him, well, you still have to deal with Corey Perry.
Exactly.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
So and I think it was a smart move by Chicago to do that, to get him that kind of help. But then after you get past line one, what do you have on line two? There's not a whole lot. There's Philip Kurashev.
That being said, that was to be expected. So I think just the entire success of the Blackhawks season this year is going to be based on the success of Connor Bedard and how he looks.
They're not going for a Stanley Cup or a playoff bid. They're going for the Calder.
And they're trying, they're going for the Calder. They're trying to build him up, build his confidence, kind of build him into a player that they can build around. Right now, they're just trying to kind of build around him.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, which, you're watching a hockey podcast, you should know, the Calder Trophy is Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year, right. Corey Perry.
Love him.
I know you do.
I love him. Still love him. I don't care. Orange tinted glasses.
You know what he suffers from as a shit disturber, as a pest. I wouldn't call him an enforcer. He's not. He's also a good hockey player, right? He's not Ryan Reeves. He's not a pair of fist with skates. He actually brings something to the game other than just
he suffers from mouth no shut upus.
Well, as a guy to be looked at the reason he's never been looked at as a tough guy, tiny head for the size of his body.
Tiny head.
Big body guy takes that helmet off. Tiny head.
Huh.
You know what I mean? You look at Ryan Reeves; he's got this big bulbous pumpkin on his.
He's got a bowling ball.
You know,
on
these
his
big
shoulders.
dudes, their helmets barely sit. They just sit like an old man who doesn't buckle his hat the right size. You know what I mean? But Corey Perry, tiny head. Get a bigger head, Corey.
Get a bigger head.
All right. Well, that's the Central Division. Now it's time for your favorite segment and mine.
Aw, shucks.
Sharks Ducks. Aw, shucks. I'll go first because I don't got a lot to say. I announced it on this week's Bungalow Sports Show, live at 4:30 every Sunday night. Sharks suck. The experiment's over.
Only team in the NHL without a win so far.
The experiment's over. Yeah. Okay? This season, the experiment is over. My optimism is over. They suck. All right? I wasn't ready to say that at the beginning of the season. I was like, let's give them a chance. Maybe there's some kind of shining thing. Even after game one, it's like, all right, Philip Zadina, 2 goals in the first 2 games. You know, like, okay. Mackenzie Blackwood, 50 saves. Okay.
Great job.
Sharks suck. All right, they play the Panthers tonight during the Frozen Frenzy. They're going to get their asses beat. They've got no physicality. They've got no defense. They've got no offense. Like, they leave the first period, I think, in all but one game with single-digit shots. Some of them sub-5.
Their offense is anemic, for sure.
It's an anemic little kid with sickle cell anemia with a bloody nose in 2nd grade.
Ooh.
Got to call an ambulance for that guy.
That's their offense.
Toilet paper ain't going to stop it.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
What stops the bleeding?
Sharks suck.
Yeah.
What about the Ducks, Daniel?
Well, real quick with the Sharks, are we sure that this isn't just some minor growing pains?
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm trying to help.
Yeah, that's what I would have said. That's what I was saying the first couple games, right? It was just like, trying to be positive. And like, I was texting Chris, like, you get fucking block shots. Why can't they just block shots? Why can't they just get the puck out of the zone? Like, they get their puck, they get the stick on the puck in their zone, and they don't ever chip it.
Active sticks would be good, and I think a lot of that too, though, the just the fact that they look so lost.
That's the thing. And so Chris was trying to keep me positive because I get real negative real quick. That's how I am. You know what I mean?
Makes for a good podcast.
Chris always has been try to keep me positive and be like, "Hey, dude, a lot of new faces. They're all still trying to mesh with each other, trying to figure out where everybody's gonna be. Just give it some time. Time's up."
Time's up. 5 games in. Time's up,
dude.
82 games, Cole.
Time's up. Like, when, your block shots and your shots on goal should not be that similar of a number.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Unless they're both high.
I will say one thing for the Sharks, and I've seen a little bit of their games so far. They do look, to this point, like they don't quite understand
how to play
where
hockey.
They're supposed to be, what the system dictates that they should do.
Exactly.
And I think with time that gets fixed, but a lot of their issues I find is coaching related.
Sure.
I think that who's the guy you got behind the bench now?
What is it?
The other guy from Florida, right?
He's got the weird face.
Yeah.
I'm blanking right now because I'm angry. You got me angry.
Sorry.
But
I think his whole thing the rest of this month is going to be get everybody on the same page. And if you don't see that by November 1st, then the Shark, you know what you guys are going to look a lot like, and I hate to say this, you're going to look like Anaheim last season, which they were depressing to watch, and they were listless and purposeless, and it was a problem.
I went into this season saying start Mackenzie Blackwood, right? Which obviously I was right. He's the better of the two options.
They should have had him starting.
But here's the thing: now that I've flip-flopped, the goal of this season. One, obviously, you're not going to have to try too hard to get in the lottery, but,
no. You're going to be there.
We're going to be there. The goal of this season is let's not burn out Mackenzie Blackwood on a lost season.
That might be what they were going for then,
That's what I hope If that's the decision they made before the season started, that's the one good decision that has been made, because now that he's shown that he is the better of the two options and can be a great goaltender in this league with just shining on that one game. If he can stop that many shots from the Colorado Avalanche, you're a good goaltender.
Yeah.
You got 77 games to not get him hurt, not get him banged up, not get him burnt out,
and
not
again
lose all his confidence.
And again, this is a guy that missed a lot of time last year with injury.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the main goal right now, is to just keep Mackenzie Blackwood in a good place to when you guys can finally figure out what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
What about the Ducks?
I like the Ducks so far, actually.
Not too shabby.
You know what? They're playing a lot of teams that they have no business being in games with. They're playing them really, really tough. They just played Boston on Sunday, lost 3-1, but they scored the first goal of the game in the third period.
Right.
And I mean, it was short-lived. Boston went out and scored twice right after. But I mean, God, the team was running the Bruins show for quite some time, and finally Henrique and McTee break through, and it's just like, God, you see it on their face, just like, yeah, we got this going, like they're happy to be at the rink, they're skating well together, and I like this team a lot. One thing I'll say about the NHL and the NHL schedule makers, whoever made the schedule for Anaheim, go directly to jail. Do not collect $200.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Dude, they played Friday and then they played Saturday. And you're like, okay, yeah, back to back. That's not unheard of. I just told you they played Sunday. They played 3 games in a row. That should be illegal.
Against division winners?
Dude. I mean, one of them was Arizona, but I mean, hey.
No, but that's what we were saying last week, is the Sharks and the Ducks played basically all the division winners in their first 2 weeks of the season.
It's like, what are we doing here, guys?
It's like football. If you suck, the next year you get a losing schedule. You get the
you get to play the teams that were bad last year.
And vice versa. If you win, you get a winning schedule and all that.
The only thing with football is you only have 18 games, right?
That's true. I shouldn't compare the two, but
I mean, to start the season, you give us Boston twice.
Maybe it eases the disappointment. Like, if we played bad teams out the gate and got beat by them, like, at least from the Sharks standpoint, I'd be way more upset than I am losing to good teams. But I'd still be mad. But you guys are hanging in there. And
we're doing
winning
okay.
some games.
Drysdale just went on IR again. Again. I am worried about that kid.
Yeah.
I love Drysdale, and I think he's going to be a great player eventually. But this guy cannot stay on the rink, and this is a troubling fact that I'm learning. However, Lacombe, number 60 for us, looks like he took over that top spot on the D next to Fowler.
Right.
And he's been playing great. Some of these young kids, and I knew, this team's potential because they're all young kids, and they're all super fast and super good. Like I said, potential's up here. Their ceiling where they are is right here. Well, they're playing somewhere in the middle,
which is fine,
and I'm so happy about that.
And you know what else? Those 30-year anniversary get-ups. Oh, they're so nice.
God, they're so good. Go back to that full time. Oh my God, they look so good.
Isn't it suck when you see? It's kind of like the Coyotes bringing back the old logo and stuff. It's like when you see that, it's like, why isn't this your full time? It's got to be the full time.
But they went back to it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Ducks, those 30 years need to be there.
Dude, the 30 years right now, just throw that on. I don't care. It doesn't have the diagonal stripe and everything. Oh man, the
color
and
scheme,
the green,
everything.
Oh.
And there's not a person in the
gorgeous.
hockey podcasting media world that doesn't agree. I haven't seen one person say that those jerseys are no good, except for Chris's negative ass when I posted a thing about it, and then he's like, "Who cares?" I'm like, "Oh, they're ringing nice." All right, dude. That's a show.
That's a show. We did the show.
Thank you for joining me again, Daniel. Thank you guys for watching. Go subscribe, Peak One Sports Network on YouTube. There's plenty of shows on there. We got the lead. I was on the lead off this last week, where I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to do that show because they go live at 7 a.m. in Texas, so that's 5 a.m. Our Pacific.
Oh, that sucks to be you.
Hey, you know what? But I dig it because I get to go on there and ruin their show and just talk over them because that's my thing. Is like I tell everybody when I go on someone else's show, I'm like, please tell me to shut up. It's kind of like when I subbed for your team the other day.
That was fun though.
And I told everybody like after my first shift, and I'm like, listen guys, my team has to put up with it, but if I'm annoying any of you, please tell me to shut up because I just can't help myself. Like my mouth opens, stuff comes out when I play hockey, and I just yell. I have no volume control.
It was funny because you said that on the bench, and like. I'm like, I just came off. I think I was on your shift. I came off and I looked down the bench and everybody's kind of like, who the fuck is this guy?
I know.
I was like, dude, it's cool. It's cool.
I got that vibe, and that's why I told him. I was like, hey guys, tell me to shut up. You're not gonna offend me. Like I was like,
fuck, my team doesn't watch a podcast then, do they?
I just, it's fine. And that's the thing is, I went on the lead off. They usually talk baseball. They talk college sports. They talk all kinds of stuff, but I go on there and I talked hockey for 20 minutes until their internet went out and they had to cut the show short. So
that's really funny.
But that's what they bring me on for. So yeah, plenty of shows on Peak One Sports Network you can go check out, including the 3 that we do in this bungalow here. And support the sponsors, especially the new sponsor, Shank It Golf, 15% off. Go to shankitgolf.com, promo code PEAK1, get 50% off, and as always, Betalytics.
50% off, that's kind of nuts, right?
15.
Like, 15, never mind.
Don't make it out. Dude. Now they're all like, God, where's 50?
Dude.
What the hell?
My bad.
15% off with promo code PEAK1 at shankitgolf.com, epichockey.com, bonfire.com/store/PEAK1 sports, league swipe, Betalytics, 25% off. Support the people that support us. And
absolutely.
Enjoy the Frozen Frenzy and enjoy hockey. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Can't wait.